Hello, everyone. Uh, so, three viewers. Lai Lei. So let's just wait for the rest to find the new link to this lesson. Coffee. Coffee while waiting for the rest. So hello, Lai Kanji, Charin, and Moj or Moj. Okay, so I think we have to start. Today, the focus will be on strengthening the fingers and working on scale. Okay, various variations, bowing variations to actually help both the arms, the bowing arm, and of course the hand, the left arm or the fingers. So first, we need to choose a very simple scale. And of course, the assignment is the G major scale of Rimoli. This is a very simple one. So the most basic um, bowing when you play a scale, of course, is that a shape. Let me just remove this stool. Okay. So when you do that shape for a scale, you set the metronome to 60. At the moment, I don't want to turn my metronome on, so it doesn't drown out my voice. So metronome set to 60, and then whole note, each note should be played on whole note 4 beats. Those are the first four notes. So if you notice, I don't really vibrate the string when I play scales. It is more important to tune all the notes to make sure that all the notes are in tune rather than vibrating it, because vibrato is only an embellishment, so you don't actually need to vibrate. It hinders the improvement if you actually vibrate. So going back, just the first four notes are the half scale of G. Those are the first four notes. So I normally just play like that at the beginning, just to warm the fingers up. And for the arm, to be able to gauge how high I should play. I should work on it. And then next thing that you would do is when you practice is to look at the bow, how it bites onto the string. So you have to look at the hair strands if all of them are actually touching or biting the string. And that way, you would also see whether the bow is tilted or tilting towards there or here or moving sideways. Of course, you don't want those. So focus on to the bow. That's the full scale on two strings, G and D strings. Okay, and then once you're able to perfect that, the next thing you would do is try to connect two notes together, applying the bowings from the lessons of safety. So. And back. Of course, I'm playing it a bit faster compared to how you should really do it. So I suggest really 60 beats per minute. So, but I have to play it fast just to demonstrate so that we won't waste a lot of time just for demonstrations. And then after that, once you get used to it and it feels so easy already or it gets easy, then you can move to the next tempo and so forth. And then next, after having two notes slurred, you'll do four notes slurred. So. And then eight. And then 16. Okay, and then the more difficult ones. Okay, and then there are also other bowings there. You can just apply all of them. But of course, reminder, you all have to start with a very slow tempo. I recommend only 60 beats per minute. And then we can go to the thirds, the scale in thirds of septic, which is so practice it slowly again. Keeping all the fingers down as you play them. So. See, I'm actually stopping two strings at the same time for the first finger. I am stopping the D and the G strings. So. Same thing. From here. you should retain as much fingers as you can when you play scales. That is to help your fingers form the letter C, form letter C, because it will strengthen the hand. Of course, all the fingers are better, rather than whenever you play, you lift them off. It's not going to work, and you're not going to improve fast at all. So, okay, comment. Yes, this is my Baroque bow. So it's actually shaped like a real bow and arrow. So again, you're not limited to what is printed onto the book regarding bowings. You can explore. You can apply all the bowings you already know. So from exercise number 11, you can get all of those bowings and apply it to the other numbers also, which is really good when you do scales. Number 13 of Sevcik is an example. And also Rimoli, same thing. You can apply all of them. So if you're good with the different bowings, you can easily sight read music in the future, because when you're sight reading, all the all the different bowings are actually put together, like mixed into this and that. It's like a salad, like fruit salad. So you'll just have to pick which bowing is actually coming from the books you've learned already. Um, Again, when we do scales, start slow, listen, and then apply different bowing techniques. Next, how do we strengthen our left fingers? This is actually the most difficult exercise that you will do, I think, in your entire life on the left hand. So, this is both for advanced and beginners. You're going to choose, let's say, a scale. I would say half scale, only 4 notes, that I would play on D string. So only half scale of D major, which is this one, and back. And then, as you play, yes, you can actually start sending your scale videos. So once you tune those 4 notes, of course, zero is the easiest one to tune as long as you have your tuner there. Then we could start with the exercise. If you have your violins there, you can actually try it at the same time with me. So the thing here is you're going to pluck the string with the left fingers while you're gliding the bow onto one. So what I'm going to do is use first my first finger in plucking the G string, open string, while I glide my bow onto the D string, so like this. And then finger one on the D string, I'm going to use my second finger to pluck the string, the G string. And then third finger, I will use my second finger to pluck the string. And then back to F sharp here, I'm going to use this time my pinky. And then finger one, I'm going to use my third finger. Then zero, back to one. So that's actually left hand pizzicato as you glide your bow onto half a scale. So it's like this. So you can play around. You can do different patterns onto those four notes. You can also add the fourth finger if you want. So So you can create your own variation that will force your fingers actually to strengthen. So it might be very difficult at first, but you can pick the string that you can easily play onto. Some students are actually better off when they play onto E string, so might as well try the exercise on all the strings. So like this. Or I also practice that with double stops. So, and then once you get tired, of course, you will have to rest. And there's another exercise for that, which is alternating fingers would pluck the string. Um, the finger to the left, to your left, will be the one to be retained. So alternating fingers mean 1, 3, and 2, and 4. So I'm going to put the first finger here while the third finger plucks the string. And then 2, 4. And then alternating finger again. This time, third finger on A string, finger 1 on E. And then finger 4 on A, and then okay, so okay, so those are only some of the exercises you can apply onto strengthening the left hand, the fingers. So if you're going to play now scale and you're going to add the left hand fingers, it will force the left hand to strengthen. So that's the ascending scale, D major scale ascending. And then you can, of course, go down. Okay, so hopefully you're trying to practice that back home as well. Okay, so if there are questions, if you have questions, you can just type right now before we proceed to the next. Wait. Okay. Uh, no questions. No questions. So about the scale, when you play mm, the exercise number 13 of Safjay, that is this one. All the hair strand should be flat to straight. And then bite. You really have to bite. Okay. Uh, Harmonics. There will be a full session regarding harmonics because there are two types of harmonics. One is fingered harmonics, and then the natural harmonics, which is actually the easier one. Okay, but not today, not to mix the lesson. So when you're playing scale, you'll have to memorize it because it's actually exactly the same pattern for a major and for minor scale. So the only difference that you're going to start on a different note. It's the reason also, the same reason why I'd like you to actually learn the solfa syllables instead of the letter names. Because letter names is actually difficult to sing because the letters we sing are the alphabet song is actually not not like the do re mi of the solfa syllables, which actually tells you the exact pitch of a certain note, which is always starting on the do. That is, whenever you sing the do or the first note of a scale, that is actually the first note that you will always apply to the scale. Um, I don't think that's clear. So what I'm telling you is the movable do should be applied onto all the different notes in the scale. So whether you start on an E flat, you always think that that is your do. Or if you start on an A flat, think of it like that's your do. So do. In that way, you won't get off, so that all your notes would be in tune. So if you're actually learning pieces or exercises having like all the flats present or all the sharps, movable do helps. So think of the first note as, of course, your do. Well, A flat, no, C flat and C sharp. Well, they're actually do, the first note of the scale. So do. It makes your life easier because you don't have to think of the um, the sharps or the flats of the key signature. So another example is if you're playing F sharp, a piece based on F sharp, play first F sharp major scale, but don't think or don't read it as F sharp, G sharp, and then A sharp of the scale. Read them as do, re, mi. So F sharp, that's your do. So do. So that's the easier way to memorize all the key signatures. It's actually just using the movable do. So that helps a lot if you're dealing with pieces having a lot of sharps or flats in the key signature. So back to number 13. And then you can do a different rhythm also, not just the bowing. So like that. Or here. So when you practice the scale, don't focus only in the middle of the bow. You also play here and here. This is the spot where it will be more challenging compared to the two. The rhythm would be. And then middle. Then point. So and so on. And then another rhythm variation would be the opposite. Okay. And then you can also create your own variation. That is to untangle your elbow as you play, because that is fixing your right arm. At the same time, you're tuning your left fingers. So it is very important to play scales every day, because you're actually shooting two birds in one stone. So you can only play fast moving notes when both arms are actually relaxed, because you actually train them so much or so hard. This will be very flexible, as well as the fingers. If they're trained hard, they could easily move. So you could actually play fast pieces when you train them hard. So another one, another rhythm would be. And what else? If both arms won't relax yet, maybe you're playing too fast. You have to slow down. You always need to slow down if both arms are still very stiff. So always remember that when arms are not ready, they tend to stiffen or to be very rigid. So another exercise that would help you strengthen those fingers are actually just left hand pizzicato. You don't have to put it here. You can actually just hold the violin here, but doing this. Just pluck all the strings with your fingers. The strings should actually shout out when you play. Uh, what do you mean by adding slides? Because I actually ask my students not to do slides. Portamento. So for that one, first of all, you need to relax the entire arm so that you can easily slide. There are two kinds of portamentos. One is just the slide going up. if you cannot relax the entire arm, it's not going to work. And there's also this kind of portamento where you're actually playing all the semitones in the scale. So, okay, so, but that's, I think, to advance. Yeah, but before you can actually advance, you have to master first your basic techniques. So, yeah, don't do the portamentos yet. At the moment, it's not for you. So, going back to what I was telling you earlier, another exercise is the left hand pizzicato here. Um, the alternating left hand pizzicato and the both strokes. This is also an advanced technique, but you could start practicing that with the G major arpeggio. So B, and then G, and then D, and then pluck, and then third position. If you could go to the third position already, and then back to first. So. Or if only first position, B, and then pluck, and then D and B here, and then G, pluck, and then 2, 0. So for sure your fingers would strengthen there. Other questions? Questions pertaining to scales and the left hand pizzicato for strengthening the hand, and what else? The bowing variations of self-check. Okay, so no questions yet. I think it's still a little bit early. So once you practice the different rhythms applied to the scales, you can actually play the scale much easier afterwards when you do only détachés. Like, so if détaché is very difficult at first, all you need to do is apply different kinds of rhythmic variations and bowing variations. So. Or and then that's actually one of my favorite variations. Mhm. To soften the wrist, when you practice the exercise I just mentioned earlier, that will actually force your wrist to unwind and get more flexible. So you might start applying the exercises earlier. You can just review the video afterwards. So after doing a lot of variations here and different rhythmic variations here, when you try again or when you play again step shape, it will actually flow easier. Of course, you need to also focus on the length of bow you use. I keep on reminding you this. You need to plan the bow. You don't always use the whole length. Sometimes just advise that you only use this part or only 1 centimeter of your bow to have a really nice bite and for you to be able to play the scale or the exercise fast. Because it would look funny if you're going to play that. It's difficult. It will be very difficult because you're trying to use a lot of bow while speeding up. So da 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 da. That's very difficult. So less bow and just relax. Enjoy all the notes. Okay, and then what other exercises? Oh. I actually do not get the question. How should you apply pressure on finger of the left hand? All you need to do is drop the finger onto the string. So drop and then pluck. If you're pertaining to the exercise, drop, pluck. Okay. You don't need to push it down so hard because it's also difficult to take it off afterwards. So just drop it. The weight of the fingers of your hand should be enough for the string to create a big sound once you plug the string. You don't need to push it down hard. So just put it down. The weight of the finger is enough for that. That's the same reason why you can play fast in the future. Well, if you just put it down. If you just drop it, relaxed, and no added extra pressure. If you add extra pressure, then it will be difficult to take it off after stopping a note or a string. So no extra pressure, just drop the finger there. But of course, in the beginning, if your fingers are not that strong yet, it will be difficult to create a nice round sound. It might sound like this only in the beginning. But once it's used to doing it, you'll get a better sound. And then what else? What between D and A? For exercise, that's fine. If you plug 2 strings at the same time, it's fine. Anyway, this is just an exercise for strengthening the fingers. So a lot of plucking really strengthens your finger. So pluck. The more you pluck, the faster your fingers would get strong. Because it's not enough to just use like I saw some photos of gadgets you use. I don't know how you call that, where you could press and then there's a spring, there's a lever there, so press and all. It's better if you really practice onto your instrument because the touch of the string is different from the gadget you use, or if you're just doing this, that's not enough. The best way to practice finger strengthening is to practice onto your instrument. So drop, pluck, drop, pluck. Okay, no extra pressure, just drop it and then pluck. put it onto the string, pluck. And then what else? So don't be afraid to touch other strings. It's just practice. It's just for practice. Open strings fine. And then, okay, I'll give you an extra tip also for pizzicatos because you need to learn this early point in time also. When you do pizzicatos, normally if you're an orchestra player or a soloist, you hold the bow too. But if it's just pizzicato, you can also put the bow down and hold into the corner of the fingerboard here, put your thumb there, and start plucking. You can play the G major scale for exercise. So. That's a slow tempo. Okay, so without bow, you hold you anchor your thumb here. So that's easier, it will be much easier to control the plucking. And then, now, if in the future we'll be playing chords, or let's just give you an example of a chord, G major chord, finger 1 on A string, and finger 2 E string. So when you pluck the string, the direction should be going from G to E string sideways, like that, or slanted. So that should be the angle. From here, pluck from here to there, never from here to here, because you might snap your strings. So go here and then pluck, going this way, so away from you. So sample it. But that's easier when you have the bow on your, when you're holding your bow, because it gives a nice counterbalance as you pluck the strings. And don't be afraid to play out. It should ring loudly. When you pluck the string, you should go all the way from here to going down, not going up. You don't hook the string and pull. No pulling and no hooking and pulling of the string, because you will snap your strings. That's for sure. So from here, it's like banging your finger onto the strings, and then you bounce back. So pluck and then bounce back. That is to project the pizzicato sound. So normally I add vibrato there, but of course I'm not forcing. I'm not asking you to do vibratos at the moment. So. Okay, so that's how easy it is to play pizzicatos, chord pizzicatos also, if you know how to, if you know the direction of your fingers when you pluck. No pulling and no hooking into the string, always going down, sideways. So other questions? I normally would start with just the major scale because that's easier. And then for minor, when there's time, you could always add minor. That's actually more difficult. But then the major should always be the first one you practice, because that is going to set your fingers to where they should be, especially if you're doing G and D, G and A majors. And then, because once you start playing minor scales, the sixth and sevenths are raised normally in the technique books, and then when you go back down, because it's melodic, you go back to the natural No, not the natural, but you go back to the key signature that's written onto the scale, or the natural form of minor, the natural minor. So from melodic to natural. As you go up, it's melodic, sixth and seventh tones. You go up, and then going backwards, the the sixth and seventh tones go back to the natural form. But then normally, especially if it's rimoli, the very last note is always raised one half step higher. So if it's a A major, oh sorry, A minor scale, raised six, raised seven, but when you go back down, you go to the natural minor. So earlier, the last four notes, one, two, or higher actually, the sixth and seventh. Now, when you go back down, natural, natural, and normally scale, you go back to G sharp. Because Rimoli's scale is like this. And then you start again. So you can you can actually spend the whole day practicing only the scales because there are so many bowing variations you can apply to them, and also um, the a lot of rhythmic variations you can apply. So you're practicing both the left hand and the right arm when you practice scales. That is, if you're not lazy to apply them. So I recommend not sticking only to the attachés or slurs. There's so many variations you can apply when you practice. So not just you can change the rhythm. Or okay, up to you. Then what else? Yes, because normally, well, actually, if you get more advanced, there will be a lot more techniques. But maybe the focus on the intonation all because your maturity at the moment is not that advanced yet. So normally a teacher would give you the proper techniques or the right techniques that you need to further advance what you already have. But if you haven't attained the right technique yet, of course, as a teacher, it's his responsibility first to make you do the basics or the foundation so that you will be ready to accept or to apply the newer techniques because there's no use or um, if you will be given the advanced techniques already and you're not ready yet, you won't be able to do it perfectly anyway. So you're just going to waste your time practicing and your effort. And also, the teacher will never do that. That's why maybe when you are only given instructions and intonation and just note reading, maybe because that's still your level. So the more you advance, or the higher advanced, the more techniques you will get. But this is like a ladder. If you will be given all the techniques already, or the advanced ones that you cannot execute them, so there's no way you can actually play them properly. So it's like going up a ladder, but then all the steps are already down on the floor. So I don't think that is how you want to do it. So we really assignments for the members. Yes, I actually give according to the maturity of the students. But during the the online tutorials, of course, like this one, I give more for not the majority or for everyone, because depending on on the level you have, you can just pick the ones for you. I cannot give just specifically for the beginners, so, because there are some of you are a little bit more advanced, you should be able to learn as well. That's why I'm giving both very beginner stuff and more advanced ones. And also, when you post your practice videos, that is when I actually give you the specific assignment just for you. So if you don't post your own practice videos, then I won't be able to help you, because generally I'm just giving here the more general for everyone, the techniques that you might have acquired already, or for those who are a little bit less advanced, for them to acquire them also. So I try to balance it, giving advanced and more basic stuff as well. So other questions here that I missed? No. So for beginners, don't be afraid to do the left hand pizzicato. Okay, start doing it now. And then maybe next lesson I could include already the harmonics. And then, yeah, last time I mentioned about the practice and staccatos and all. You just review them. I don't want to repeat them again because it will be the third time if I did. And what else? I actually do not know who the more advanced ones here are or intermediate, so I could also help them because I'm giving more basic stuff. If you're into the advanced category, let me know. Okay, welcome. So what else? So for strength, I think I will just have to recap. To strengthen your left hand, do the left hand pizzicatos, just open strings. Okay, explore. You just have to enjoy it. And then playing half scale with the left hand pizzicato blocking as well. Well, you do them simultaneously, and then what else? Different rhythms here. When you do different kinds of rhythms applied to a scale, that is building the foundation to strengthen the fingers also. So different types of rhythms. You can create your own if you want. And then when it's for the right arm, of course, bowing variations. That is very important. Don't stick to only one bowing style or two bowing styles, the taché and slur. Those are the more basic ones. But once you've acquired the technique, start exploring. So go beyond what's printed onto your music book or to your technique book. So you're already equipped with different bowings when you're learning or when you're practicing the exercise number 11 or self trick. So master it. That's actually it's like your bullets when you go to a war. You cannot go to a war without your weapon. Your weapon is an instrument, but if you don't have bullets, those are the techniques. Then you won't win the war. So make sure you're ready. Always equip yourself with bullets. So techniques here and here. Rhythm, and then bowing technique. Okay, what else? More questions? Hmm. So, no questions. Hopefully, you would review the video because right in the beginning I gave those techniques. So I think the problem with this online thing, because it's always not connecting automatically, maybe because we're still very small in terms of numbers. So hopefully, when we reach at least 100, it will connect automatically once I set um, an online schedule for the violin clinic. So, so I think that's all. We can continue the discussions through Facebook, and yeah, send your videos so I could help you. It's like having one-on-one lessons if you send your own videos or practice videos. Okay, and please no advanced stuff yet if your level is not there yet. You're doing more harm to your technique than helping yourself progress. So stop uh, working on techniques that are not suited for your level yet. Huh. Okay, so that's all for today. I'm expecting more videos this time. Oh, and one more thing, I will choose the. I announced this last month that I'll be choosing one lucky scholar, but I think I would have to postpone it for another month because now the community of the violin beginners lounge is actually growing. So I'll give another chance. So one more month. So another month for you to practice and show what you have. So that's all for now. Uh, yeah. So we'll see you next week. Bye.